Welcome back. In this episode, we dive into Tinker's construct, melting, casting, and assembling. Then it's bulk washing our assorted rocks, an auto hammer to do the work, and botany pots for infinite kelp. Let's get into it. So since the last episode, I've been tidying up the hub area a little bit just to make it look a bit nicer. I like this new style. We'll see if we can continue that through the rest of the build. Got my little garden happening here, crops just to keep me going. Also got a little bit of a tree farm here just because I didn't like doing it in the middle over there. Over here, it's a bit of a mess. I had to move so much stuff into here and it's all enclosed and just, yeah. I also processed a lot of gravel through our automated system here, so we have loads of resources, which is great. So we can start making some iron tools, which I already have started to do because I needed it. We are still here in the getting started page. We need to finish this off. Get a cobble gen, hopefully, and start looking into tinkers. This basic stuff we can do. Getting the melter, I think we can probably do that. We're going to need seared bricks. To make seared bricks, we need to cook grout. To make grout, we need to do this. So we need sand and gravel and clay. And to make clay, we need the dripper, which is over here. So what exactly does a dripper do? The dripper is actually a pretty cool mechanic. It's a block that you place in the world that has an inventory that you can fill with some sort of liquid. For example, it could be creosote, it could be water. You put a block underneath it, and then it slowly drips that liquid onto the block, and after a period of time, it will transform it into another block. So say, for example, this recipe here, which is the one we want to make clay. So if we drip water onto a dirt block, after a period of time, it will make clay. Let's do that. So some sticks, spruce slab, and a button. Cool. I think I've got all that. So let's place the dripper, and I'll put a block of dirt underneath. Go grab some water, and then go fill this up, and it starts dripping. Now we just got to wait for this to turn into clay. Oh, okay. Quicker than I thought. That was only about 10 seconds. Well, let's put the other two down. A few more of these, and then fill these up. So it looks like it doesn't actually use much water, because I only used 100 mils of water to... Oh, that one's already done. Let's tick this quest off. Ooh, an iron paxel. That's actually useful right now. That makes for a bit of a change. I'll do this for a while and wait until I've got enough clay. Next, I guess we need to make these tinkers things. So there's parts builder, tinker station. So that's made with patterns. Okay, that's pretty easy. So we're going to need lots of these patterns. I might just make a whole bunch. So 27, and I think the recipe was like that, wasn't it? Yep, that's the parts builder. Tinker station itself is that. Cool. Tick that off. Bronze paxel. Okay, I guess I got a backup for when the iron one breaks. Cool. I didn't mention it before, but a paxel is a special tool that's basically a pickaxe, an axe, and a shovel all in one. Okie dokie. Let's get these stations down. Part builder and the tinker station. The Tinker's Construct mod has an interesting feature with these workstations that you can use. If they're adjacent, then you can just switch between them like this to work with them. And in fact, if I build a chest, I think it can pull stuff out of the chest as well. So if I put that into there, so you can see it knows about it. Tinker's has one more workstation that's notable, which is called the crafting station. It basically works like a crafting table. Just a pattern and a stripped oak log. Let's give this a go. Crafting station. What's good about this is you can actually leave items on it. So when you close the screen, they don't just pop back into your inventory. Next thing I want to do is upgrade these furnaces, because they're kind of slow and there's actually better furnaces in the game. So there's something called an iron furnace. You can actually build it outright, or you can build an upgrade that will upgrade an existing furnace, so you don't have to pull out any of the items, which is pretty handy. So let's upgrade these. Shift right click, and that's it. Done. All right, so I think the next step is probably to make some of this grout. We've got loads of sand, a bunch of clay. We are going to need some gravel. Turn that into gravel. This is our new crafting station. Put that in there. And I've forgotten the sand. So this is where the crafting station is actually really useful. Pop that onto there and make a lot of grout. Cool. Can use our new iron furnaces. So now we just got to wait for these to finish, and then I'll come back. Since we're waiting for those seared bricks, we might as well talk about what Tinker's Construct actually is. So it's a mod that lets you build tools and weapons and things like that from individual components. And you can customize what materials those components are made of, which gives the tool different properties. It all starts at the Tinker Station. So these are the things that we can build. So you've got like a sword, a dagger, various axes and pickaxes and a crossbow. Let's look at the pickaxe. To make one of these in Tinker's construct, you need 3 parts. And so that's a pick head, a tool handle, and a tool binding. And that's where the power of Tinker's construct comes into it, because we can make these out of pretty much any material. Go to the part builder, start with a pattern, and these are the different parts you can build. Well, we're going to make a pickaxe, so let's make a pick head. So we need to drop some sort of material into this slot here. And for this particular pattern, it's going to cost 2 materials. So if I put a piece of cobblestone in there, you can see that the material value is 1, so we don't have the option of making it yet because we need some more. So I'll put a second one in there. So these are the stats you get from making it out of stone. If it was a binding, it would give you no stats, but stone bound. If it was a handle, it would give you these stats. If it's a head, it gives you these. So since this is going to be a head, this is the stats we'll get. So you click that and it consumes both the pattern and the materials. So next we want to make the tool binding, and maybe this time we'll make it out of wood. So I think we can use sticks for that. Yep, so that's an option. So now we've got a different property here, cultivated. Let's make that one. And the last thing we needed was the actual handle. So let's just make that. So if we go back to the Tinker Station and select the pickaxe and place these in here, so we've got the stone pick head, the wooden handle, and the tool binding. We now have a stone pickaxe, which has piercing 1, stone bound 1, and cultivated 2. It's got cultivated 2 because there's 2 things in here that have cultivated. And now I've made a stone pickaxe. Something that's worth noting is the part builder is limited to simple materials like cobblestone or wood. If we try and put an iron ingot in there, we get this error over here, cannot shape. In order to make a part from metal, we need to first melt the metal and then cast it. And we do that with a melter. The melter is made up of 2 parts. You've got the seared melter and the seared heater. The melter is where you put your ores and things that you want to melt down. And the heater, as the name suggests, is where we provide the heat. In this case, solid fuel. The seared heater is the easier of the 2. It looks like this. It's just 8 seared bricks arranged like this. Now the melter itself is slightly more complicated because you've got these seared bricks and there's something called a seared fuel gauge or ingot gauge. Ingot gauge looks like this, 4 of these seared bricks and 5 pieces of glass. The other one looks like this, which is 4 seared bricks and glass in a cross. It ends up being the same recipe, but just oriented differently in the crafting grid. So we'll place down the heater and then we'll place the melter on top. So if we place some sort of fuel in here, so we've got some coal. So if I could grab some iron from over here, place that into here, 1 in each slot. And this is a progress bar for each of the items, and it will slowly melt and produce an output over here. The melter slightly increases your output from the metals. So in this example here, we put in 3 raw iron, but we got out 4 ingots. We have molten iron in there, but what can we do with that? First of all, we're going to need a seared faucet. So that lets us basically tap into the tank. And then finally, we're going to need something to pour the liquid metal into so that it can cool and solidify. So our options are either a casting basin or a casting table. The table will let you make tool heads and ingots and that sort of thing. And the casting basin will let you make blocks. So let's build both. One like that and one like that. Put the casting basin there and the casting table there. So if you shift right click, you can place the seared faucet against the side like that. So what we're going to need next is a cast. In Tinkers, there's 2 types of casts, the single-use and reusable. The single-use ones are made from sand and the reusable ones are made from gold. We don't have gold yet, so we can't really look at those. But we can use the single-use ones. It's quite simply just sand in a crafting station or crafting table, and it makes some blank sand casts. What you do is you place it down on the casting table, and it fills the entire area. The item that we want to cast, say for example a pick head, we need to make one out of some other material like stone or wood, and place it in here to make the impression. Let's go to the path builder. Let's put in 2 of those, make a stone pick head. Now, if we just put this onto the table, right click, it makes an impression in there. So if you right click again and take it out, now we have a shape which is of the stone pick head. So if I right click on the seared faucet, it will pour the hot iron into that shape and then slowly solidify. It consumes the sand cast, but we're left with an iron pickaxe head. So obviously that's not terribly useful for mass producing because you need to create a cast every time. But that's where the gold casts come in. But when I get access to gold a bit later, I will show you how that works. The other thing is, if you've accidentally made the wrong item, so for example, I've made this iron pickaxe head, I don't want that, I'm meant to make it out of something else, or I made the wrong shape, you can just remelt it. So just pop it back in there. And you actually get back everything that was in it. You don't lose anything that way, which is pretty cool. And of course, the other option is the casting basin. So if we try and pour that into there, we're trying to make a block, but we've only put 3 ingots in. So this molten iron actually won't solidify. So we actually need more to go in there. So let's put in a few more. And I could pour that again. Now, the faucet itself can be triggered by a redstone signal. So at the moment, I'd have to right-click it to activate it. But I can actually do that, and as soon as it's ready, it will pour. And done. So what I'll do is I'll actually turn this off, because as soon as I take that out, the rest of it will pour in there. So you can set up a system that's constantly creating product, like a block or some kind of ingot. And then you can extract what's in these with a hopper or a chute or something like that. So yeah, early automation, but we're not going to do it with this setup because this is pretty primitive. We're going to build something better later. All right, well, let's redeem these quests. Got a random, another bronze paxel. Okay. And also this book, Puny Smelting. And then, of course, we've built the casting as well. There's actually information on casting here. You can see basically all the details I gave you are here. A block of iron ore. Lovely. Let's see what we got. So we've got another bronze paxel. This is getting a little bit ridiculous. I'll just put this in here for the moment. In fact, I'll store them both. Okay, I got 32 iron ore. That's pretty useful. I thought it was just 1 block. We also got this book called Puny Smelting. If you have a read of this, it gives you an overview of this whole thing. This is the gold casting. We'll get to that later. Yeah, worth reading if you want to get into that sort of stuff. So I think the next thing we want to tackle is this encased fan, which leads to washing. The encased fan is from the Create mod, so it's got shafts, andesite casings, and propellers. Propeller is just iron sheets and andesite alloy. So that's pretty easy. So the propeller looks like this. Then I need an andesite casing and a shaft. Done. Let's grab that quest reward while we're here. Stone paxel. Okay, now it's just having a laugh. The encased fan is actually pretty cool. So depending on which way it rotates, it will either suck air in or blast air out. We want it to be blasting air out. So you can see that's pulling air in. If I shift right click, it's blowing air that way. When we set it up, we have to make sure it's going the right way. So I'm gonna have to figure out space to put this. I mean, this is a mess. What can I do about this? I need to go away and actually expand this room out a bit to give me some more space, I think. So I'll do that and come back. Well, there's a bit of a space, pretty ugly. We'll fix it later. This is just sort of a temporary setup anyway. So I was just thinking, we could actually attach the shaft at the end here and then come around this way. That might actually be better because I don't want to have to do anything with this drivetrain here. It's working nicely and there's just no spaces to put a shaft coming out this direction. So if we can attach a gearbox like that, that'll work for us. So run a shaft out this way and then put another gearbox like that and then have the shaft coming out this way. Now let's just attach the encased fan. It's going the right way. Excellent. I need a depot, one of these guys. Andesite alloy and andesite casing. I'm all out of andesite and andesite alloy. All right, don't do this, but I'm going to borrow this one. I'll make another one later. Put that here. Now the idea is we want a water block in this little spot here. So if I do something like this, so if I do that, I should be able to put a water block there and the water won't come out. Like that. And you can see it's changed the color of the particles. So now this is doing a washing process. So if I put something there, it will wash it. Place that into there and just wait, and that should be washed. There you go. Got some raw nickel, some raw gold, some apatite, and some raw copper. So this is a really ugly implementation of it, and we'll fix it up later, but this is how you can do some bulk washing. So what I'm planning to do, I'll have one of these encased fans, and each of these depots will be washing a different thing. So we'll have one for gravel, we'll have one for sand, one for dust, and then we'll have a system that extracts it. So yeah, this is just it's a proof of concept, I guess. The encased fan actually has a few more tricks up its sleeve. You can change this for other blocks and it will do other functions. So let's get rid of the water for the moment. And let's make ourselves some lava. Now this mod pack has probably one of the easiest ways I've ever seen for making lava, which is something called a fire plower, which is made with 2 sticks like that. To use it, you just look at some stone and hold down right click. And eventually, that happens. So that's pretty crazy. And these are flammable, so maybe I'll just change these over for cobblestone. That. We should be able to put the lava in there. It won't come out. I don't think it will set this on fire. But as you can see, this is now fiery. And if I actually step into this, it does burn you. So just be aware of that. We can put things on here, cook them. So if I put that on there, it should turn into stone. And because this lava is not consumed, essentially we can now cook things for free. Like we don't have to use these furnaces. So all that iron I put into these is a waste. This takes a while, but there you go. Look, stone. So I guess I could probably do the same thing with, say, a stack of raw iron. I probably should be running that through the smeltery, but we'll get to that later. I've got loads. It's not like iron is a finite resource. We've got so much of it. So we've got bulk washing, and this is bulk blasting. If you put a campfire underneath, then that's bulk smoking, so it can use it for cooking food. There's also bulk haunting, which we'll get to later, but that comes into effect over here with the soul sand. So I've got the lava, we can tick that off. Oh, come on, really? Another stone paxel. This loot table is bugged. The last 5 rewards or something has just been all paxels. I get that we need to dig, but this is getting ridiculous. All right, let's grab that. Put that back to bulk washing. What I'll do eventually is actually have more than one. Like, switching between them kind of sucks. So while we're here, we might as well make a cobble gen. So the cobble gen is basically just a block that produces cobblestone. All you got to do is craft it, and it just does it passively. It's made of water bucket, lava bucket, some glass, 6 blocks of compressed stone. And each of these compressed stone is obviously 9 blocks of normal stone. It produces a cobblestone every 2 seconds. You can upgrade it to level 2. Will produce 1 every second. And then there's like an iron one every half a second, and then gold, and then eventually diamond, which makes 1 every tick, which is pretty fast. I don't think we need to worry about that for the moment. Let's just prove that we can make just the tier 1. And we need to compress some of this. Is that gonna be enough? Yeah, because we only need 6, didn't we? Okay, put that across there. Glass in the middle, lava, and water. Done. Cobble gen. We just got to place this down somewhere and put an inventory on top. I'll just put it here for the moment, just quickly to show. And that should be filling with cobblestone. It is. Cool, that's it. That's all there is to it. So for the moment, I'm actually not going to deploy this because we have a chest over here that is full of cobblestone that I still need to deal with. So I'm not going to create another problem for myself yet. So we'll just have that ready to go. But that's what we need to do. And we can probably tick off that quest, can't we? Oh, luggage. That's something new. That is a fun little critter. Follows you around once you get too far away. There we go. It's kind of creepy like a mimic. But it will pick up items that you drop, I think. There you go. So it picks them up. And I think you can right-click to pick it up. So it's kind of like a little personal helper. And I think you shift right-click, yeah, to pick it back up into your inventory. Actually, that'll be really good when I'm digging these tunnels out. We're going to have to dig out in all directions to actually get to the dungeons and things. So that can follow me along, just picking up all the cobblestone. That's actually pretty cool. All right, I'll have to remember that. So what we might build next is an auto hammer, because this will help us a lot. It's basically like the thing that you do in the world where you use the hammer to break down cobblestone into gravel or gravel into sand. No, gravel into dirt, isn't it? And then, yeah, etc. Basically has one side is an input, one side's an output, and it will just process it for you. Doesn't require any power, it just works. And luckily we have some gold and redstone now. 2 pieces of redstone, 2 pieces of gold. Need to make an iron hammer. And so I think that's everything. Done. So we got the auto hammer. So one side's red and one side is blue. So I think what this is saying is this is the input because it's pointing into it, and this is the output because it's pointing out of it. So let's try that. Let's put in some cobblestone. And there you go. It has input and it's now crushing it. So it needs somewhere to go. Guess we'll put that chest down. There you go, it's making gravel. The auto hammer, a lot like the cobblestone generator, has different tiers. You start with iron, you go up to gold, then diamond, then netherite. The gold one looks like that, so you just upgrade an iron auto hammer. Speeds up the hammering process. So we could probably almost upgrade to diamond. But for now, that is a big improvement. We've got a way of processing our cobblestone into gravel, which is kind of annoying. I'm going to build a whole bunch of these, and that's going to be part of my ore processing. In order to help automate that process over there, we're going to need something called a funnel. This is quite a clever object in Create. It'll allow us to take the items off the depot when it's done. So that's going to require some andesite alloy and dried kelp. Andesite, obviously, we'll just dig down and grab some more of that. The dried kelp is going to be a problem because we don't have any kelp. I've managed to source a single piece of kelp, which I could use to make that, but that seems a bit silly because I don't have any more. So I should probably get around to upgrading this farm using these special devices called hopper Botany Pots. So this is a very nifty little device. A botany pot lets you grow things kind of like on farmland. And if you make a hopper botany pot, once the thing is finished growing, it will automatically output it into an inventory underneath. So essentially you don't have to go around harvesting everything. But before that, this chest is absolutely chockers. So I think I might upgrade that. So in much the same way that we upgraded these guys, we can create something called an iron chest upgrade. There's different upgrades depending on the tier that you're at. So that's just a wooden chest. So essentially, we've got iron around the outside and a piece of wood in the middle. And applying that to the chest will upgrade it. So it is shift right click and it's done. Look at that, double the capacity. I really like that because we don't have to take any items out of the chest. So now I've got this set up. What we need to do is make some of those botany pots. So first of all, we're going to need, terracotta. And we're also going to need flower pots. Flower pots are just bricks. So it means we're going to have to cook some of this clay. And also make some terracotta by cooking these clay blocks. In the meantime, I did put some gravel on here, and gravel produced a lot of stuff. So we've got lapis lazuli, cinnabar, amethyst, emeralds, iron nuggets even. So we'll just pop these in here just temporarily because it's an absolute mess. Managed to get some fluorite, some niter, some raw silver, lots of different resources, which obviously, if we can automate that, that'll make things a lot nicer. So let's check out our quests. Done that. Random reward. What is that? Medium speed increase module. What is this thing? Increases speed of items exiting adjacent activities. Okay, pretty pipes. Okay, that's a mod I haven't used. I should upgrade this chest. Actually, what's this? Oh, I've got a crystal chest. Must have got that from somewhere. All right, I am going to make a mess here just temporarily. Do that. Just put all these things in here. Someone in my Discord mentioned the laser wrench will come in handy later. For the moment, I don't think I need it, but yeah, I'm not going to ditch that. Cool, that's looking a little bit better. Some of the other mods I've played, you can hold down shift and right click with an empty hand and it will pick it up, but not in this mod, unfortunately, because it'd be nice to be able to move that around, because I'm going to have that big explosion of items again when I need to move that. We're waiting for these, so that's probably enough bricks. That's probably enough terracotta. We need to make a hopper. And then we need to make some flower pots. Then I think it was just that. Yeah, there we go. This will just be a temporary test. So I'll put that there. Put the hopper botany pot on top. Put the dirt in to there, I guess, because that's underneath. Let's put in sugarcane. Okay, it's there. And it's growing taller. Doesn't tell me how much it's grown. I guess it fills up into here normally, but because it's a hopper pot, it should go into here. I'd probably only need one of these for each resource type. Wonder if this works for trees. You can actually see the dirt in there as well. Oh, okay. And it came through. Excellent. We actually want to grow kelp though. So let's look at the kelp one. Kelp required water underneath. So a water bucket. Okay, that makes sense. Take this out. Put the water bucket in there. And place the kelp in. Oh, it's in there. Because it's wiggling around, it's hard to tell if it's growing, but I think it is. Oh yeah, definitely. Cool. All right, well that's going to sort that problem out. That will at least give us a source of kelp. And what I can do now is just get rid of all these, which is good. So I've done some further digging, and it turns out that I don't need the andesite funnel. I need the brass funnel, because that allows us to put filtering and stuff like that on it. So that's a little bit out of our reach because we're not making brass yet. And also we don't have an electron tube. That might have to wait till the next episode, unfortunately. I hate doing things manually, so we're going to automate the heck out of this. Well, I think that's a good place to leave this episode. Would have been nice to finish off the automation of the bulk washing, but I think, yeah, we'll tackle that in the next episode. I feel like we got through quite a bit, even though it might seem a bit scattered because there was a lot of individual little things. But I've got Tinkers up and running. We can expand that next episode with the smeltery. That's our first proper multi-block. So yeah, lots of exciting stuff to come. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.